Hi guys, welcome to Leicesterfans TV. Today we're talking about the match preview against Southampton. I think we've got a few pointers to take in after the Arsenal game and what's happening this week, Reedy. What's your first points going into this weekend?
So firstly, we've got Dennis Praet. Everyone's been talking about how Yuri didn't really play too well against Arsenal. For me, does he get a start? I say yes, and I think a lot of fans think that Yuri probably needs to be dropped at this point. What do you think on the kind of Yuri situation, playing against the team that he probably wanted to join?
I think there's a lot of background stuff that's going on at the moment with Tielemans. He wants to move. He's being professional about it, about how he's going, about how he wants to leave and that. So I don't think we're going to drop him for a multiple of reasons. One, I think Rodgers thinks he's the best player for that position at the moment in the club. He sent Praet out on loan last season. Yes, he's come in and played half a match against Arsenal, 30 minutes. So, he could come in and do a decent job, Praet. And I personally would play Praet, but I think the club are going to want to play Tielemans to not boost his price tag up, but, see what he's worth. I think it's damaging more than what it could be playing him, because he didn't play well against Arsenal at all. He had, he was on the pitch for a while and he didn't do anything. So I think if Rodgers had, the balls to drop Tielemans, I think he should. I think, again, we're going to play the same team as we did against Arsenal and Brentford.
And I think, like I say, with Praet, at the moment he came on against Arsenal, I thought he wasn't the main person who changed the game, but he was one person that came on and showed there was a bit more fight in there, and that's why he's probably one of my main talking points going into this game.
Yeah, I think he's one of those players that's got a point to prove at Leicester. He's probably on about 60, 70, 80 grand a week at Leicester. He didn't want to get loaned out last season. He's probably wanting to play regular team football in the Premier League, and he is good enough. He's one of those players that's just getting pushed aside a little bit through no fault of his own, really, just through managers not rating him for whatever reason. Could be training ground stuff, behind the scenes stuff. We will never know as fans why he's not getting picked. So, we got to trust the manager in his process, but I think stuff does need to change for this upcoming game against Southampton.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously going into the next talking point, we've got Kieran Dewsbury, obviously a person who will start against Southampton and maybe is the main clinical point in the midfield. Obviously, Yuri or Praet, whoever starts, you've got Ndidi in there, but Dewsbury Hall really is the main one that always kind of gives you that fight and effort in that team. And what do you think he will do in that game?
I think he's very good at, just being the high-energy midfielder we need. We've got Maddison who have spurts for Tielemans, who's not really had any, much of his high energy as we know he can do, for whatever reasons. But I think Dewsbury has definitely come in and he wants to play for Leicester. He's one of those players which he's here to play for the club. He doesn't want to. He probably doesn't care much about money. He's a boyhood club. Any one of us Leicester fans, they've got opportunity to play for Leicester. It's the same as him. He's on the money, but he's going to want to do big things with Leicester. So he's going to fight for his position every week. He didn't have the greatest games against Arsenal, but they're a tough side to really pick that apart. But he's definitely the main man in the midfield, and like Rodgers said, he's improved his games on assists and goals, and I'd like to see him get an assist or goal on the weekend.
Yeah, I'd say there's not really much to say about him, but again, other than Praet, he's the one that will be in that first team and probably be the one that fights for the team and hopefully try and get the win again. And then finally, we're going to talk about Kelechi Iheanacho. Obviously, from the last game, he was probably, for me, the most impactful player. He got an assist for Maddison's goal. He just looks a different player in the attack. Yes, when Vardy doesn't get any kind of service, he's the one that comes on and bees that kind of service for Vardy and gives that kind of assist in a way. And for me, does he start? You were saying that yes, Brendan Rodgers will probably put the same team out, but I've said to Jake at the game against Arsenal that him or Daka should be the one that goes next to Vardy in a two and attack, kind of be a bit more aggressive on the ball, I guess.
I agree in the fact that we do need to play two strikers. The way we've been playing with Barnes and Pereira, we're not playing with wingers. We definitely need to play with more through the middle attacks and through, passing it through for a fast striker to run onto it. We've not been doing that the past two games, and it's shown because we've had the other teams capitalise on our mistakes. For me, I don't know if I play Nacho or Daka. If Nacho starts, what does that say about Daka? We've signed him for £30 million and
the thing is, you say does he start over Daka? For me, it's either you put Vardy and Kelechi together, or you put Daka and Kelechi together. I don't think you put both Vardy and Daka in there together for me.
I think Nacho is he's a hold-up player, he's more technical in the box. He is, if you had Vardy and Daka together, they are two very similar players, as in, you know, they both run at the ball and they, you know, first touch, shot, goal. It's one of those things. Daka just needs to, you know, make his runs a bit better and learn what the Premier League is about. He still needs to develop his game plans. It's only only 2 games into his second season, but he needs to take his chances when he gets them. And to be honest with you, I think Nacho has been a decent player for Leicester, but again, he's one of those players that's not took his chance at Leicester. So I personally would rather see Daka and Vardy up front than Nacho, because I know he can be more technical, but there's something about him. He clearly doesn't have a football game head. You know, the fans can get to him, whatever happens, you know, can get to the back of his head, and it underperforms him. You might have had a decent half an hour against Arsenal, but we've seen it happen before where players come on and they don't actually do anything when they get the chance to start. And I think Nacho is very much a culprit of that, where he'll have a decent substitute game, he'll start the next game and he'll do naff all.
Again, yeah, for me, with Kelechi Nacho, it's more about the confidence. The more games he starts, you saw it at the end of, not last season, the season before, when we played Vardy and Kell up front, he literally got about 14 to 15 goals from the end of the season because of how much he was playing.
Without fans on his back, though.
Yeah, it might have been without fans, but it even shows, even with fans, it might be even better. You never know. And for me, he has to start either way. Yes,
I agree. We need to change.
I agree. We need to play 2 strikers.
We need to play 2 strikers. Whoever they are, we need to play with different tactics.
That means you sacrifice midfield, and who gets dropped there, we don't know. But
or you don't play with wing backs. You change to you have 4 at the back.
Yes, I get that. But then going forward, then just before we finish the episode, what do you think the scoreline is going to be against Southampton this weekend? Everyone's saying that it could be a touchy one. It could be, you know, it's a must-win, but it's only the 3rd game. And what do you reckon?
It's a tough one. It's you got to think at so many different points. I'm not optimistic and I'm not downbeat yet, but after seeing the first 2 games, Rodgers, he has to make a change. He has to change his tactics. He has to change his ways. He's a stubborn manager, and he probably won't do that. But if I see the same team I saw against Arsenal, my doubts are going to be significantly higher than if I saw, you know, 4 at the back for Fafana if he's still here, and Evans at the back, and, you know, Nacho and Vardy up front, and, you know, you dropped, or maybe Tielemans has dropped and Praet's in. It's like, okay, he's actually changing something to make this team go out, and when he's actually putting players in that want to play for the club and want to try hard. But if we play the same team as we did last weekend, it's, you know, it's not going to be easy, because those players are just thinking, I'm getting into this team week in, week out. For me, this week, I know it's a weird one, I'm going to kind of side with you. I think we should play Iverson this weekend as well, because Ward, he's made mistakes.
Ward didn't do many things wrong, but it's a point of, I think, I always go back to the Ramsdale thing. He didn't start the first 3 games to Arsenal last season. That's when they lost 3 in a row, remember about that. And then he came in and it completely changed.
If we're not signing a new keeper this season, I think we need to test the waters with what we've got. I don't think I know Ward's got number 1 spot, and again, it's Rodgers, he probably will play Ward, but I think we need to, you know, see what we've got. I think it's very ignorant of Rodgers to play the same team again after 2 disappointing matches. I mean, we know Arsenal were going to be on form, and, you know, they were on form, but it was the manner we lost. But, you know, it was disappointing. It was lacklustre. It was mistakes again from players like Ward. He did make a couple of mistakes, and 1 or 2 of them led to a goal. And it's stuff like that can be prevented if we do sign, you know, a proven Premier League keeper. And I know we don't have the funds at the moment, maybe, or you need to balance the books a bit more. We still need to go out there and prove the Premier League, because if we don't, you know, balancing the books is all well and good, but you're not going to be balancing them in the Championship very well if, you know, we're down there with all these players on high wages. So I think Rodgers needs to book up his ideas a little bit. I think I'm trying to be positive, because Southampton are, you know, they are probably top 5 fodder, kind of, usually most seasons, and with the teams that have increased, Brentford's a tough one. They beat Man United. How good were Man United last week? I know we drew to them 2-1 after being 2-0 up. Again, it's a tough one to say where we will be against Southampton, because, like I say, we're only 3 games in.
Go on then, what your scoreline? Because I'm being positive. I think,
without knowing the team right now, I will be positive and say 2-0 win, because it's Southampton and we should realistically beat them. If it's anything less than a draw, and even like if it's a Brentford draw, I said in, you know, some of the group chats, say if we draw in the same manner as we did to Brentford, that for me is classed as a disappointing game. If we're 2-0 up and we draw 2-2 to Southampton, that is a lacklustre, disappointing, bad game for me. We should go nothing less than a solid draw. If not, we should go out and smash them, really.
Again, I've got to agree with you. I think something has to change, and I think if we do, I can see is kind of, I wouldn't say whitewashing them and actually just beating them 3 or 4-0. But they're still a tough team. They've got the likes of Ward-Prowse in there, which for me is probably one of the best.
Which could be our Achilles heel as well because of set pieces.
But I'm going to be positive. I'm going to go for a 3-1. I think they will score a set piece probably from a free kick, but I think we'll win. And again, I just hope we
just to add to that, if they do score a set piece, what's happened in pre-season and what's happened in Rodgers' team, his back staff. I know we're looking to get a new set piece coach and they're having visa problems at the moment, but again, it's from the season before where I think we were the highest team to concede from set pieces. If we go out and concede to a team that's good at set pieces, what does that say about where we're progressing? We've not signed anyone. At the moment, we are worse club than last season because we signed our captain and our club keeper for the past 11 years. So, in my eyes, where do you think we're going to sit with like all this stuff that's happening around the club? We need to do well against Southampton in the set piece department. We need to show we've improved. If we don't show we improved, I know it's a bit touch and go. What do you think to Rodgers being the man to take us forward this season? Do you think he'll have long with us if he's going to if nothing's changed?
I'm still Brendan Rodgers in, and for me, the only set piece we conceded against Arsenal was a bit of our own downfall. It wasn't the tactics for me, it was literally just because one of our players flicked it on and literally gave him a free goal pretty much. Other than that, we've not really conceded set pieces. I can't remember anything, not against Brentford or against Arsenal. So I'm just hoping for this new set piece coach to come in now when his visa does get sorted out. Hopefully he does change. And again, I'm going to go back to the Arsenal situation. They brought a set piece coach in last season and they've only conceded 2 goals, whereas we conceded about 25.
It does just show a bit of lack of motivation from the club though when everything's taking so long and we're not bringing in even these coaches as quick as we can do. We signed these players last season and like you say, some of them, we're talking about Nacho here starting over Daka. What do these players have to do? Sumer looks like he's out the door. Bertrand and Vestergaard have both not been good enough for Leicester, in all honesty, if we had to be honest about it. Bertrand especially. Vestergaard, I think he offers a different option at the back. He is a friendly giant at the back, but I think overall it's just a bit. We need to see. We're obviously only 2 games in, and we've got 3 games left. So have your say in the comments down below, guys. What do you think to all of this speculating around Leicester? There's a lot of drama at the moment. Obviously, as we all know, it's tough to be a Leicester fan, but it's also good to be a Leicester fan. It's good and bad, but we'll see how it goes. Have your views in the comments down below.
What do you score predictions as well? We want your score predictions because everyone's going to be different at the moment, and maybe put your team sheet as well in there because we want to know. And
obviously, as this is pre-recorded by Wednesday, anything could happen by Saturday. Fofana could be gone for all we know by Saturday. So, take our accounts with tongue in cheek a little bit. So have your say in the comments down below, and like and subscribe.